Good afternoon and welcome to Northside and to Woodward. I believe this is the first occasion that I've had to read for both teams in this year's tournament. Looking forward to seeing you compete. I hope you have enjoyed savoring the moment of having advanced this far. Now it's down to business and competition. As you well know, we're into the single elimination mode. At this point, I think I'd like to go ahead and welcome the audience. We're delighted you're here to share in watching this particular competition. And we do want to remind you, though, that this is indeed single elimination. We would not want to do anything that would impair either team's performance and leave one team with a feeling, well, we could have won if the audience just hadn't done something. So let's do our best not to make any movement or to make any sounds during the competition. I know this is probably redundant for both teams, but as a cautionary reminder for both, please wait for recognition by school name and player name. If there's some confusion in my mind as to whether the bell or the buzzer has sounded first, I'll ask Mr. Leopold, and he'll probably say something like, "You're in." That's still not your cue to answer. I'll still call upon you by school and player name. With all that out of the way, I'm Bill Willis, your moderator. Your judge is Todd Leopold from Atlanta, and your scorekeeper, timekeeper is Lois Grothy from South Sioux City, Nebraska. Let's do a buzzer check, starting with Sean and going to Derek. Looks like they work. And now that the formalities are out of the way, here is our first toss-up question. Number one, what chemical term describes a substance that provides ionic Northside, Sean?
Amphoteric.
I'll repeat. What chemical term describes a substance that provides ionic conductivity when in contact with or dissolved in water? Woodward, Morris.
Electrolyte.
That is correct. Number two, who said, "There comes a time when people get tired of being trampled over by the iron feet of oppression. I want it to be known that we're going to work with grim and bold determination to gain justice on buses in this city." Northside, Seth.
Martin Luther King Jr.
That is correct. Number three, what legendary hero has been portrayed on film by Errol Flynn? Northside, Cecilia.
Culpeper Christian.
I'll repeat. What legendary hero has been portrayed on film by Errol Flynn, Sean Connery, and Kevin Costner? Woodward, Maurice.
Robin Hood.
That is correct. Number four, who recorded the hit album Devil Without a Cause? Woodward, Prashant.
Kid Rock.
That is correct. Number five, until the recent publication of Juneteenth, Northside, Bunks.
Ellison.
That is correct.
Good shot.
Number six, of krypton, neon, radon, and xenon, which gas will diffuse at the greatest relative? Northside, Sean.
Neon.
That is correct.
Good shot.
Number seven, H seeks A, B, and no other was the way Henry VIII often ended love letters to what woman? Woodward, Maurice.
Anne Boleyn.
That is correct. Number eight, who in 1858 said, "I believe that this nation cannot exist." Northside, Booth.
Lincoln.
That is correct.
Good shot.
Number nine, name the popular singer whose Aida is now Northside, Cecilia.
Caruso Verde.
I'll repeat. Name the popular singer whose Aida is now on Broadway. Woodward, Andrew.
John.
That is correct. Number 10, what is the name for the nutritive inner lining of the uterus? Northside, Sean.
Placenta.
Incorrect. Question complete.
Time is called.
The answer is endometrium. Number 11, what is the Latin word for truth? Woodward, Prashant.
Veras.
Incorrect. Northside, Seth.
Barata.
Incorrect. Veritas. Number 12, what is the name of the triploid food storage tissue in the seeds of flowering plants that nourishes Northside, Sean?
Endosperm.
That is correct.
Good shot.
Number 13, what city in Egypt ranks second in Woodward, Darren?
Alexandria.
That is correct. Number 14, what term is applied to the medieval cycles of plays which drum Northside, Cecilia?
Morality plays?
Repeat. What term is applied to the medieval cycles of plays which dramatize biblical stories? Woodward, Andrew?
Passion plays.
Incorrect. Mystery plays. Number 15, what 18th century writer is remembered for one novel, The Vicar of Wakefield? Northside, Cecilia?
Goldsmith.
That is correct.
Good shot.
Number 16, what is the proper name of the tailbone? Northside, Sean?
Calyx.
Incorrect. Question complete. Woodward, Maurice?
Carthage.
That is correct. Number 17 is an 8-second question. If a set has 5 members, how many Woodward, Darren?
120.
Incorrect. I'll repeat. If a set has 5 members, how many proper subsets does it have? Northside, Sean?
24.
Incorrect. 31. Number 18. The Ausgleich of 1867 created what dual monarchy? Northside, Booth?
Austria-Hungary.
That is correct.
Good shot.
Number 19. What poet came to public attention when he won a poetry contest for writing a refusal to mourn the death by fire of a child? Northside, Cecilia?
Thomas.
That is correct.
Good shot.
Number 20. Which constitutional amendment contains both the free exercise? Northside, Booth?
14.
I'll repeat. Which constitutional amendment contains both the free exercise clause and the establishment clause? Woodward, Darren?
15.
Incorrect. The First Amendment. Coaches, we've reached the end of round 1. You may confer with your team while we tally the score.
At the end of 1, it's Northside 80, Woodward 70.
As you're well familiar, we now play for the right to answer bonus sets. Here is our first toss-up of round 2. It is an 8-second question. The vapor pressures of 2 volatile liquids, A and B, are 400 and 150 torr, respectively. In torr, what is the total vapor? Northside, Sean?
550.
I'll repeat. The vapor pressures of 2 volatile liquids, A and B, are 400 and 150 torr, respectively. In torr, what is the total vapor pressure of a solution containing a 0.40 mole fraction of A? Woodward, Maurice?
180 torque.
Incorrect. 250. Toss-up question. Give the complete name of the composer whose St. John's Passion Northside, Cecilia?
J.S. Bach.
Incorrect.
That's correct.
No, it's not.
All right.
Give the complete name of the composer whose St. John's Passion premiered on Good Friday, 1724, and whose St. Matthew's Passion premiered on Good Friday, 1729. Woodward, Darren?
Johann Sebastian Bach.
That's correct.
Okay.
No apologies for later on the gospel.
All right.
Here is your team's bonus entitled Physical Constants. Identify the constants having each of these values. Number 1, 32 feet per second squared.
Acceleration due to gravity.
That is correct. Number 2, 8.3145 joules per Kelvin per mole.
Universal gas constant.
That is also correct. Number 3, 6.626 times 10 to the negative 34 joules seconds.
Planck's constant.
That is also correct. And number 4, 9.649 times 10 to the 4 coulombs per mole.
A Faraday.
That is correct. For all 20 points, back to the toss-up. Against which president did the Daily Richmond, Northside Booth,
Reagan.
I'll repeat. Against which president did the Daily Richmond Whig rail? Again has the imbecile into whose hands accident has placed the power vetoed a bill passed by a majority of those legally authorized to pass it. Woodward Maurice.
Andrew Johnson.
Incorrect. John Tyler. Our next question is an 8-second question. Under standard conditions, 6 cubic feet of nitrogen will react with 18 cubic feet of hydrogen to produce how many cubic feet of ammonia? Northside, Sean.
12.
That is correct.
Good shots.
And Cecilia, here is your team's bonus entitled Doctors in History. Number 1, name the American doctor who tended to John Wilkes Booth's broken leg.
Mud.
Correct. Number 2, what famous European physician was born in 1493 with the name Theophrastus Bombastus von Hohenheim?
Vesalius.
Incorrect. Number 3, name the physician to the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, whose many dissections led to the publication of his landmark work, De Humani Corporis Fabrica Libri Septem.
Vesalius.
That is correct. Number 4, what French country doctor, astrologer, and self-styled prophet published a book entitled Centuries?
Nostradamus.
That is also correct for 15 points. The one you missed was Paracelsus. Back to the toss-ups. In what 1965 landmark case, Northside Boone?
Escobedo versus Illinois.
Incorrect. I'll repeat. In what 1965 landmark case did the U.S. Supreme Court rule that the Bill of Rights provides for a right to privacy? Woodward, Darren.
Matthew, Ohio.
Incorrect. Griswold versus Connecticut. Number 26. Sydney is the capital of which? Northside, Seth?
New South Wales.
That is correct. And here is your bonus. G, art, vocabulary. Vocabulary. I'll give you a definition of an art term that begins with the letter G. You give me the art term. Number 1, opaque watercolor paint.
Gouache.
Correct. A thick layer of translucent oil color applied to a painted surface or to parts of it in order to modify the tone. Also, a glassy coating applied to a piece of a ceramic work before firing in the kilns.
Glaze.
Correct. Painted in tones of gray, sometimes suggesting low relief.
Risotto.
Incorrect. Number 4, a recumbent statue on a tomb.
Gargoyle.
Incorrect. You've answered 2 for 10. The recumbent statue is a gisant, and the painting in tones of gray is grisaille. Back to the toss-up. What is the architectural term for a tall, tapering, acutely pointed roof? Northside, Cecilia.
Obelisk.
I'll repeat. What is the architectural term for a tall, tapering, acutely pointed roof of a tower? Woodward, Prashant.
Pinnacle.
Incorrect. Spire. Toss-up question. This Flemish artist was the court painter Woodward, Maurice.
Rubens.
I'll repeat. This Flemish artist was the court painter to Charles I of England for 9 years and painted over 30 portraits of the monarch, his wife, and children. Name him. Northside, Cecilia.
Van Dyke.
That is correct. Here is your bonus entitled Literature. Identify each of these Shakespearean plays from their opening lines. Number 1, when shall we three meet again? Thunder, lightning, or in rain?
Macbeth.
Correct. If music be the food of love,
Twelfth Night.
play on, give me excess of it.
The Twelfth Night.
Correct. Number 3, 2 households, both alike in
Romeo and
dignity.
Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
Correct. Now, fair Hippolyta, our nuptial hour draws on a
Midsummer
page.
Night's Dream.
A Midsummer Night's Dream.
That is correct for all 20 points. Coaches, we've reached the half. We're going to make a substitution. Please see.
Called it because they knew he did ask for a complete name. And I understand that your point is that it's not compromised. But then again, Bach had 21 kids.
None of them with JS initials,
No.
so clearly there's only
It's
one
J-
that's being cleared on. That's confirmed. The JS part is confirmed by his saying yes.
I mean, this is kind of like if, someone leaves an S, on some other question, And, you know, I hear it differently than Bill. You know, I
I just feel in my heart that there's something there that was confirmed for the other side.
You've presented your case, and now we'll wait for the decision of the judge.
mean, I want to let it stand the way it is, and I apologize for my error, and I hope it, you know, doesn't have any impact. But if you still want to file a protest, just, okay, I'm sorry, whatever. Okay, at the end of the half, it is Northside 155 and Woodward 100.
Andrew, as you know, your team has the advantage of first choice in this round. The categories from which you may make your selection are children's authors, devices and inventors, or the letter M in world history.
Yeah. The letter M in world history, please.
Your time will begin when I say the number 1. If you're going to interrupt me on a descriptor, do so loudly so I'll know that you're not discussing it with your teammates. Here are your specific directions. All of the answers in this lightning round begin with the letter M. In the case of persons, the surname begins with the letter M. Number 1, ancient kingdom north of Greece ruled by Philip II.
Macedonia.
Correct. Turkish slaves who served as soldiers and bodyguards in the Abbasid Empire.
Pass.
Book dictated by Adolf Hitler during his
Mein Kampf.
Correct. Polynesian peoples who settled in New Zealand.
Maori.
Correct. Italian leaders derisively called the sawdust Caesar.
Mussolini.
Mussolini.
Correct. Chinese dynasty that ruled from
Ming.
Correct. Seafaring people who lived on the island of Crete from about 2000 to 1400.
Minoan.
Correct. Famous English document of 1215.
Magna Carta.
Correct. Emperor of Mali who made a famous Hajj in 1324.
Pass.
Austria's foreign minister from 1809 to 18...
Benedict.
Correct. You've answered 8 for 80 points. And I show that we need to rebound numbers 2 and 9. Is that correct?
2 and 9.
Okay, Cecilia, your time will begin when I say a number. You must at least let me begin the descriptor before giving a response. Number 2, Turkish slaves who served as soldiers and bodyguards in the Abbasid Empire.
Marcinane.
Incorrect. Emperor of Mali who made a famous
Mansa
Hajj.
Musa.
That is correct. You picked up 1 percent. The Turkish slaves who were soldiers and bodyguards were the Mamelukes. Okay, Cecilia, your team has a choice between children's authors or devices and inventors.
Children's authors, please.
All right. Your time will begin when I say the number 1. And as I advised Woodward, if you're going to interrupt me on a descriptor, do so loudly so I'll know you're not just discussing it with your teammates. Here are your specific directions. Name the creators of these immensely popular characters or series from children's literature, classics to current. Number 1, the Nancy Drew Mysteries.
Stratemeyer.
Incorrect. Mary Poppins.
Travers.
Correct. The Five Little Peppers.
Pass.
Ramona.
Quimby.
Incorrect. Babar the Elephant.
Pass.
The Chronicles of Narnia.
Lewis.
Correct. Madeline.
Pass.
The Curious George Stories.
Ray.
Correct. The Harry Potter books.
Rolling.
Correct. The Animorphs.
Sparks.
Incorrect. Where I show that you have answered 4 for 40 points, that we need to rebound numbers 1, 3 through 5, 7, and 10. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, Andrew, your time will begin when I say a number. You must at least let me begin the descriptor before answering. Number 1, the Nancy Drew Mystery.
Pass.
The Five Little Peppers.
Smith.
Incorrect. Ramona.
Clary.
Incorrect. Or correct. Babar the Elephant.
Ribenow.
Incorrect. Madeline.
Pass.
The Animorphs.
Applewhite.
Incorrect. You've answered 1 for 10 points. The Nancy Drew Mysteries is Carolyn Keene. Five Little Peppers, Margaret Sidney. Babar the Elephant, Jean de Brunhall, or Laurent de Brunhall. Madeline is Ludwig Bamelman, and the Animorphs is Catherine Applegate.
Crocus?
Okay.
I wasn't sure, I was like, it's after something.
That's the end of round 3. Coaches, you may confer with your team while we tally the score.
Nancy Drew, which is the person who wrote them under the pseudonym Carolyn Keene, and also the Hardy Boys Mysteries under Franklin W. Dixon. We're going to take Stratemeyer. So 50 points for Northside on that particular quiz, which means 60 total, 215 to 190. Score after 3, Northside 215, Woodward 190. Why does this come to the meeting? There's like a couple things All right, let's continue. It's 215 to 190.
All right.
Favor Northside.
We have 17 toss-ups remaining. Good luck to both squads. Here is our first toss-up of the final round. Name the man who served as vice president for the 15th president. Woodward, Darren.
Breckenridge.
That is correct. Number 30. She translated Dante's Divine Comedy and wrote mystery novels featuring the urbane detective Lord Peter Wynne. Northside, Sean.
Dorothy Sayers.
That is correct.
Good shot.
Number 31, what is the type of symbiotic relationship in which there is no effect? Northside, Sean.
Amen, Slocum.
That is correct.
Good shot.
Number 32, what is the term for the infinite series formed by the sum of the reciprocals of the positive integers? Woodward, Prashant.
Golden ratio.
Incorrect. Northside, Sean.
L'Hopital sum.
Incorrect, it's the harmonic series. Number 33, what is the general term for enzymes that break down fat? Northside, Sean.
Lipase.
That is correct.
Shots.
Number 34, what is the name of the document issued in 1917 by the British Northside Booth?
Balfour Declaration.
That is correct. Number 35, in which Hardy novel does a child named Father Time hang him? Northside, Seth.
Jude the Obscure.
That is correct. Number 36, Don Marquis wrote poems purportedly typed by a cockroach telling of his adventures with a cat. Identify the cockroach and the cat.
It's time.
Archie and Mehetabel. Number 37, this American photographer was married to the writer Northside Cecilia.
Stieglitz.
I'll repeat. This American photographer was married to the writer Erskine Caldwell. She is most remembered for her works published by Life magazine. Name this woman who lived from 1906 to 1971. Woodward, Prashant.
Margaret Bork White.
Again?
Yes, he said it.
Okay, thank you. Number 38, name the French premier who attended the Munich Northside Booth.
Didaye.
That is correct. Number 39, name the young man in Greek myth who, having seen the goddess Artemis bathing naked, Northside, Sean.
Actaeon.
That is correct. Number 40, what large island lies just north of Northside Booth?
Socotra.
Incorrect. What large island lies just north of Sardinia? Woodward, Darren.
Corsica.
That is correct. Number 41, what name is given to the peasant rebellion in northern Northside Booth?
Jacquerie.
That is correct.
Shots.
Number 42, what other name is given to the Third Battle of Ypres? Northside Booth.
Somme.
I'll repeat. What other name is given to the Third Battle of Ypres during World War I? A British offensive which was continued despite no hope of a breakthrough to the Belgian ports, the original objective. The Battle of Passchendaele. Number 43. Who wrote the gruesome revenge tragedies, The Duchess of Malfi and The White Northside Cecilia?
Webster.
That is correct.
Shot.
Number 44. In botany, what is the name of the slender structure that coils on Northside, Sean?
A vine.
I'll repeat. In botany, what is the name of the slender structure that coils on contact with a support of suitable diameter, aiding the plant in climbing? Woodward, Maurice.
Tendril.
That is correct. Number 45 is an 8-second question. What positive number is 100 times its own reciprocal? Northside song.
100.
Incorrect. Maurice, Woodward.
1.
Incorrect. It's 3. Let's give both teams a round of applause.
100 over.
Admiration for even in adversity, which you fought for.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, final score, Northside 395 with 1, 2, 3. And Woodward 270. I apologize for that. It was a bad.
What a coward. Got second today.
How many of you are seniors?
University of
I
Arkansas.
know UA.
University.
I'm so asking.
You two, you're juniors?
Absolutely.
Junior.
Yeah.
Started. Good luck. Congratulations for being to this point. Here we go. What is the German word for train station? Sean, Northside.
Tronstock.
Incorrect. Liberty, Mike.
Bahnstation.
Also incorrect. Bahnhof. What is the 1999 film? What 1999 film features a deluge of frogs? Cecilia, Northside.
No answer.
Liberty, Mike.
Magnolia.
That's correct. Name the person who is currently head of government of Booth, Northside.
Milosevic.
That's correct.
Good shot.
Shots.
What name was given to the claims brought by the United States against Great Sean, Northside?
Alabama claims.
That's correct.
Shot.
Name the maiden whom Zeus wooed in the form of a white Cecilia, Northside.
Europa.
That's correct.
Shot.
What is the name of the dense network of capillaries with Booth, Northside?
Glomerulus.
Well, that's correct, but it's glomerulus.
What is the capital of Trinidad, South, Northside?
Port of Spain.
Correct.
Good job.
Hessian mercenaries sleeping off Mike, Liberty.
The Battle of Trenton.
That's correct. Who recorded the hit album The Writing Is on Cecilia, Northside?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Incorrect. Who recorded the hit album The Writing Is on the Wall? Mike, Liberty.
Pink Floyd.
It's incorrect. Destiny's Child is the answer. What is the equivalent of a county in Louisiana, South Northside?
A parish.
That's correct. What woman with Lucretia Coffin, Cecilia, Northside?
Stanton.
That's correct.
Good shot.
A goiter involves Sean, Northside.
Thyroid iodine.
That's correct.
Good shot.
What is the name of the smallest of blood Booth, Northside?
Arterioles.
Incorrect. What is the name of the smallest of blood vessels? Liberty, Melanie. Capillary is correct.
That's fine.
Also known as the Northern Coniferous Forest, Mike, Liberty.
Tiger.
It's incorrect. Also known as the Northern Coniferous Forest, what is the name of the biome which is dominated by coniferous evergreen trees? Sean, Northside.
Tundra.
It's also incorrect. Boreal forest is the answer. Name the literary critic, Catholic apologist, and author of the Father Brown Mysteries. Cecilia, Northside.
Chesterton.
That's correct.
Good shot.
Who wrote the poem Crossing Brook, Cecilia, Northside?
Crane.
It's incorrect. Who wrote the poem Crossing Brooklyn Ferry, which sold Matt, Liberty?
Sorry, Whitman.
That's correct. Name the adventurous traveler who made it around the world in 80, Cecilia, Northside.
Phileas Fogg.
That's correct.
Good shot.
In this Browning poem, Grr, you swine, snarls the speaker, whoso wants Brother Lawrence's soul to go to hell, that he hides a French novel in his basket of grapes. Name the poem. Cecilia Northside.
Fall up a lippy.
That's incorrect. Liberty? Liberty, Mike?
Snake.
It's incorrect. It's soliloquy in a Spanish cloister. What is the proper name of the voice box? Mike, Liberty.
Larks.
That's correct. What man who would later become President of the United States gained international attention during World War I? Booth, Northside.
Jack.
Incorrect. What man who would later become President of the United States gained international attention during World War I by leading the distribution of food and supplies to war-torn Europe? Melanie, Liberty. Hoover is correct. And that is 20 questions. Coaches, you may confer with your teams.
Northside 100, Liberty 60.
Here we go. What synonym for magnesium sulfate is derived from Sean Northside?
Milk of magnesia.
It's incorrect. What synonym for magnesium sulfate is derived from a region in England where the raw material was mined? Liberty, Melanie?
Epsom salt.
That's correct. Liberty, space first is the category. Identify each of the following in the history of space exploration. Number 1, the first vehicle to land on Mars.
Viking 1.
That's correct. The first United States weather satellite.
Weathsat 1.
Incorrect. The first craft to fly by Neptune.
Pioneer 10.
It's incorrect. And finally, the first manned space station.
That was Skylab.
That's incorrect. Salyut was the first. Voyager 2 was the first by Neptune, and Tyros 1 was the weather satellite. Next toss-up teams. In Camille Saint-Saëns' Danse Macabre, the skeleton is described musically by what Matt Liberty?
Xylophone?
It's incorrect. In Camille Saint-Saëns' Danse Macabre, the skeleton is described musically by what instrument? Seth Northside.
Piccolo.
That's also incorrect. Very close. Marimba is what we needed to use. The fall of what city in 1939? And Mike Liberty.
Warsaw.
That's incorrect. The fall of what city in 1939 ended the Spanish Civil War? Northside, Seth.
Guernica.
Also incorrect. Barcelona is the correct answer. Areopagitica, Sean Northside.
Milton.
That's correct.
Good shot.
Islands is your category. Identify the nation to which each island belongs. First, Ibiza.
Formentera, Spain.
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 Correct.
Sure.
Timor.
Timor. Is Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Correct. Svalbard.
Oh, it sounds like Russia or Norway. Norway.
Norway? No,
No.
Sweden.
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 It's incorrect. And finally, Samar.
How about Papua New Guinea?
Papua New Guinea.
It's incorrect. That's the Philippines. And Svalbard is Norway.
Sorry.
Next toss-up. The deficiency of which neurotransmitter substance is associated with Booth, Northside.
Acetylcholine.
It's incorrect. The deficiency of which neurotransmitter substance is associated with Parkinson's disease? Liberty, Melanie.
Dopamine?
Dopamine is correct. Literature is your category, Liberty. Victorian England produced a number of essayists as well known for their style as for their arguments and range of interests. Identify each of these writers. First, a superintendent of public instruction in his later career, he wrote the poem Dover Beach and the long essay Culture and Anarchy.
Matthew Arnold.
That's correct. An art critic and champion of Gothic architecture and a major social critic, he wrote what many consider the most beautiful prose in English.
Hod.
It's incorrect. He wrote On Liberty and the Subjection of Women, arguing for women's rights.
John Stuart Mill.
That's correct. He wrote The Idea of a University, and in his spiritual autobiography, Apology Pro Vita Sua, traced his conversion to Roman Catholicism.
Hobbes.
That's incorrect. That was John Henry Cardinal Newman, and the art critic and champion of Gothic architecture was John Ruskin. One more bonus, teams. Here's your toss-up. Who said in regards to the Dartmouth College case, "It is, sir, as I have said, a small college, and yet there are those who love it"? Booth, Northside.
Daniel Webster.
That's correct.
Good shot. Good job.
Northside, Women of the Arts is your category. This Italian Baroque painter was born in 1593 and died in 1652. Her best known work, Judith Beheading Holofernes, shows Judith and her maidservant in the act of slicing off the head of Holofernes. Name her.
Pissed off lady artist. Got married when she was starts with an M.
Manetti.
It's incorrect. This French artist lived from 1864 to 1943. Her portrait of Rodin is probably her best known sculpture. Name her.
Pomdu.
It's incorrect. This American expatriate artist, who later went blind, lived from 1844 to 1926. Name this woman who painted The Mirror and The Bath.
Cassatt.
That's correct. This American artist and feminist was born in 1939. Her best known work is The Dinner Party. Name her.
O'Keeffe.
It's incorrect. That was Judy Chicago. The French artist was Camille Claudel, and the Italian Baroque painter was Artemisia Gentileschi. And that's the end of the round. Coaches, you may confer with the team, and you may substitute if you wish.
Side 135, Liberty 95.
Up first, your choices for this lightning round are Supreme Court decisions, microbiology, or literary opening lines.
Probably more micro. Opening lines.
You've chosen literary opening lines. Here are the opening lines of several English and American sonnets. Identify the poet who wrote each. We begin with number one. It is a beauteous evening, calm and free.
Hay.
Incorrect. When I consider how my light is spent.
Dylan Thomas.
Incorrect. Euclid alone has looked on beauty bare.
Shelley.
Incorrect. Let me not the marriage of true minds admit impediments.
Done.
Incorrect. When serpents bargain for the right to squirm.
Shakespeare.
Incorrect. When I have fears that I may cease to be.
Not done.
Incorrect. A sudden blow, the great wings beating still above the staggering girl.
Petrarch.
Incorrect. She is afield, a silken tent at midday. She is as in a field, a silken tent at midday.
Dickinson.
Incorrect. Since there's no help, come, let us kiss and part.
Gray.
Incorrect. I wake and feel the... Northside, from the top, it is a beauteous evening, calm and free.
Keats.
Incorrect. When I consider how my light is spent.
Blake.
Whitman.
Whitman.
Incorrect. Euclid alone has looked
Keats.
on... incorrect. Let me not to the marriage of true minds and take impediments.
Milton.
Incorrect. When serpents bargain for the right to squirm.
Milton.
Incorrect. When I have fears that I may cease to be.
Keats.
Correct. A sudden blow, the great wings beating still above the staggering girl.
Shelley.
That's one. I'm just going to go down the line. They were, in order, Wordsworth, Milton, Edna St. Vincent Millay, Shakespeare, E.E. Cummings, W.B. Yeats, Robert Frost, Michael Drayton, and G.M. Hopkins. Your choices, Northside, are Supreme Court decisions or microbiology.
Supreme Court cases.
Okay, listen carefully. Identify the Supreme Court decision based on the description provided. You do not have to give me the year, but you must give both the petitioner and the respondent. We begin with number 1, establish the separate but equal doctrine.
Plessy
Plessy versus Ferguson.
Correct, establish the clear and present danger test.
Sheik
Sheik versus U.S.
Correct, the most renowned case of 1857.
Dred Scott versus Sanford.
Dred Scott versus Sanford.
Correct, the Supreme Court first asserted the power of judicial review.
Marbury
versus Madison.
Correct, the power to tax is the power to destroy.
McCall versus Maryland.
Correct, first major interstate commerce case.
Ogden versus Gibbons versus Ogden.
Gibbons versus Ogden.
Correct, court ruled that indigents must be provided counsel in felony cases.
Gideon versus Wainwright.
Gideon versus Wainwright.
Great, correct, struck down the death penalty as unconstitutional.
Furman versus Georgia.
Furman versus Georgia.
Correct, case famous for the Brandeis brief.
Brandeis.
Mueller versus Oregon.
Mueller versus Oregon.
Mueller versus Oregon.
Correct, case in which school prayer was first prohibited.
Engel versus Vitale.
Engel versus Vitale.
And that is 10 out of 10. It's the end of the period. Coaches, you may confer with your teams.
5, Liberty 95.
Here we go. Name the 20th century British artist who painted a bigger Cecilia Northside.
Moore.
Incorrect. Name the 20th century British artist who painted a bigger splash. Mike, Liberty.
Smithson.
Incorrect. David Hockney is the answer. In what 1967 landmark case did the Supreme Court overturn the petitioner's conviction for transmitting betting information across state lines from a public phone booth in Los Angeles? Booth, Northside.
McCarran versus Los Angeles.
It's incorrect. Liberty? Liberty, Mike?
Los Angeles County versus Rosewood.
Incorrect. Katz versus United States. Katz versus U.S. What 17th century poet defined his love as, quote, begotten by despair upon impossibility? Cecilia Northside.
Johnson.
It's incorrect. Liberty? Liberty, Mike?
Done.
Also correct. Andrew Marvell is the answer. Give the name and regnal number of the English monarch whom Victoria succeeded. Mike, Liberty.
William IV.
That's correct. 8-second question. Assume G equals 10. In joules, how much work is done against gravity in lifting a 5-kilogram object through a vertical distance of 2.5 meters? Matt, Liberty.
125 joules.
That's correct. Another 8-second question. What is the total number of atoms represented in the formula for fructose? Sean, Northside.
24.
That's correct.
Good shot.
Wallace Terry's oral history, Bloods, is one of the most powerful expressions of the complex role African Americans played in what? Sean, Northside.
Vietnam War.
That's correct.
Good shot.
8-second question. What is the value of 64 raised to the 4/3? Sean, Northside.
Turn 56.
Correct.
Good shot.
Another 8-second. If the greatest common divisor of A and B is 4 and their least common multiple is 120, what is the product of A and B? Sean, Northside.
120.
It's incorrect. Liberty. Liberty, Matt.
1200.
It's also incorrect. 480 is the answer. Name the woman, herself a playwright, who with William Butler Yeats, Cecilia Northside.
Lady Ashley.
That's incorrect. Name the woman, herself a playwright, who with William Butler Yeats founded the Abbey Theatre in Dublin. Liberty, Mike.
Correct.
It's also incorrect. Lady Gregory. In degrees, what is the bond angle? In degrees, what is the bond angle between any two sp2, Sean Northside?
120 degrees.
That's correct.
Good shot.
Name the style of acting first developed in Cecilia Northside.
Stanislavski, method acting.
That's correct.
Good shot.
What invading group sacked Kiev, Mike Liberty?
Normans,
Say again?
the north of it.
That's incorrect. What invading group sacked Kiev in the 1230s? Northside Boone.
The Huns,
Also incorrect. Mongols is the correct answer. What is the name of the cliff in western Iran discovered by British officer Henry Rawlinson, which provided the basis for the deciphering of the Sumerian cuneiform language? Cecilia Northside.
The Rosette's Cliff.
It's incorrect. Liberty? Liberty Mike?
Zagros Rock,
Also incorrect. Behiston Rock. In his autobiographical Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, Mike Liberty.
Byron,
That's correct. What nation has the seaports Valparaiso? Seth Northside?
Chile.
That's correct. Pope Clement VII commissioned what? Cecilia Northside?
The Babylonian Captivity.
That's incorrect. Pope Clement VII commissioned what artist to paint the fresco The Last Judgment on the altar wall of the Sistine Chapel? Liberty Matt?
Michelangelo.
That's correct. Identify the beat poet, publisher, and proprietor of Mike Liberty.
Ferlinghetti,
That's correct. Final question. What is the southernmost county in Mike Liberty?
Matamoros,
Incorrect. What is the southernmost county in Ireland? Northside Seth.
Cork.
That's correct.
Good job.
Being quirky since I missed the time. Final scores, Northside 405, Liberty 195. Coach assigned the score.
What Cavalier poet offered the advice to gather ye Cecilia Northside?
Robert Herrick.
That's
Good
correct.
shot.
Spur, helix, and,
Sorry.
spur, helix, and bevel are types of circular devices that transfer energy between Chris Eisenhower.
Gears,
Gears is correct. What general during the Mexican War was Kevin Eisenhower?
Zachary Taylor.
That's correct. What poem concludes with the line, Shante, Shante, Shante? Kevin Eisenhower.
The Wasteland.
That's correct. What early American writer addressed her own book as if it were her child, adding, quote, if for thy father ask, say thou hast none? Cecilia Northside.
Alcott.
It's incorrect. Eisenhower. Eisenhower Chris.
Bradstreet,
That's correct. What is the three-word term for a bill which convicts or punishes a person direct? Sean Northside?
Bill of Attainder.
That's correct.
Good shot.
Name the President of the United States who died of a cerebral Booth Northside.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt,
That's correct.
Good shot.
What is the proper name for the collar? Sean Northside.
Clavicle.
Correct.
Good shot.
The Suez Canal connects the Seth Northside.
The Gulf of Suez and the Red Sea.
That-
Correct.
Good job, Seth.
In 1999, this company again ranked #1 in Kevin Eisenhower.
General Motors.
It's incorrect. In 1999, this company again ranked #1 in worldwide sales of non-pharmaceutical chemicals. What is this chemical giant? Northside Sean.
DuPont.
It's incorrect. It is Dow. Which constitutional amendment provides for the direct election of Kevin Eisenhower?
17th.
That's correct. Name the current governor of California, Seth Northside.
Gary Davis.
It's incorrect. Is that correct?
Correct. That's not correct.
Name the current governor of California. Eisenhower Kevin.
Gray Davis.
Gray Davis is the correct answer.
Let's get you back.
All right, come on.
How many lines and how many stanzas are there in the usually unrhymed sestina form, S-E-S-T-I-N-A? Cecilia Northside.
17 lines, 4 stanzas.
It's incorrect. Eisenhower. Eisenhower Chris.
16 lines, 4 stanzas.
Also incorrect. 39 lines, 7 stanzas. What action film featured the Academy Award-winning song "Take My..." Kevin Eisenhower.
Top Gun.
That's correct. What is the proper name for milk? Kevin Eisenhower.
No answers.
What is the proper name for milk sugar? Northside Sean.
Maltose.
It's incorrect. Lactose. What character from a Moliere play has become practical? Sean Northside.
Tartuffe.
That's correct.
Good shot.
In fish, what is the organ of gas? Cecilia Northside.
Gills?
That's correct.
Good shot.
What is the Spanish word for Seth Northside?
De Toronto.
It's incorrect. What is the Spanish word for vegetable? Eisenhower Kevin.
Verdura.
It's incorrect. Legumbes. In what structure in Washington, D.C. was Abraham Kevin Eisenhower?
Ford's Theater.
That's correct. Name the current head basketball coach of the University. Cecilia Northside.
Krasinski.
Incorrect. Name the current head basketball coach of the University of Miami. Time's up. Leonard Hamilton is the answer, and that's 20 questions.
Okay.
Coaches, you may confer with your team. The challenge is on the issue of the word for vegetable, and the Spanish word for it's being said that the word is vendura, not legumbra. The latter is derived from the same root as the English word legume, which is a certain type of vegetable. Because our position, as we said on Friday, is not to have reference books to check these out and various things. Bob is, on the basis of that, going to trust the writers of our questions and our panel that gets together and deny the request. If it happens, we will look into it and get back to you and let you know that's where we are.
Thanks.
Thank you. Just for all
80, Northside 70.
bonus round. First is 8-second question teams. A chemist prepares 1 liter of a 25% sugar solution with a density of 1.2 grams per milliliter. In grams, how much sugar did the chemist use? Mike Eisenhower.
300 grams.
That's correct. Eisenhower, your category is Indian reservations. In which state is each reservation located? First, Rosebud.
New Mexico.
It's incorrect. Osage.
Missouri.
It's incorrect. Wallapai.
New Mexico.
It's incorrect. And finally, Bad River.
South Dakota.
It's also incorrect. Rosebud is South Dakota, Osage, Oklahoma, Wallapai, Arizona, and Bad River, Wisconsin. Next toss-up. In what Broadway musical would you find the characters Ben Rumson and his daughter Jennifer? Northside Cecilia?
The Music Man.
It's incorrect. Eisenhower? Eisenhower Christopher?
Brigadoon.
Also incorrect. Paint Your Wagon. OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, was founded in 1960 with its headquarters located in what European Booth, Northside?
Brussels?
It's incorrect. OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, was founded in 1960 with its headquarters located in what European capital city? Eisenhower Kevin.
Amsterdam.
It's also incorrect. Vienna is the correct answer. What 18th century English novelist created the title characters Roderick Random, Sean Northside?
Voltaire.
It's incorrect. What 18th century English novelist created the title characters Roderick Random, Peregrine Pickle, and Humphrey Clinker? Kevin Eisenhower.
Tobias Smollett.
That's correct. Eisenhower, 14th century history. On March 9, 1309, Pope Clement V arrived in what French city and eventually set up his papal court there?
Avignon.
That's correct. What was the popular name for the Brethren of the Cross who attempted to atone for the ravages of the Black Death by whipping themselves in ritual public ceremonies?
Flagellants.
That's correct. Give the name and regnal number of the French monarch at the beginning of the 100 Years' War.
John II.
It's incorrect. Finally, what was the sobriquet of the English heir apparent who won the Battle of Poitiers in 1356?
The Black Prince.
That's correct. Philip VI. Next toss up. Who is the only member of the United States House of Representatives to vote against entering both Booth, Northside?
Chisholm?
It's incorrect. Who is the only member of the U.S. House of Representatives to vote against entering both World War I and World War II? Kevin Eisenhower.
Jeanette Rankin.
That's correct. Literature is your category. Name each of these persons or places created in a verse portrait by Edwin Arlington Robinson. First, he, one calm summer night, went home and put a bullet through his head.
Richard Cord.
That's correct. He wept that he was ever born, coughed and called it fate, and kept on drinking.
Miniver Cheevy.
That's correct. He climbed a hill to drink alone one night because there was nothing in the town below but strangers.
No answer.
And finally, name the fictitious town in which these characters live.
Tilbury Town.
That's correct. Mr. Even Flood. Mr. Flood's party. What's the other one? Playing for one more bonus. Here's your toss-up, and it's an 8-second one. How many perfect squares lie between 85 and 95? North side, Sean.
0.
That's correct.
Good shots.
Word history, not world history. Word history is your category. Puckish, meaning mischievous, comes from Puck, the name of the impish fairy in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Identify each of these words also derived from names, historical, mythical, or literary. First, a noun meaning a seducer of women. It is the name of a character in a play by Nicholas Rowe.
Casanova.
Incorrect. A verb meaning to tease or torment by offering and then withdrawing something from a character being so punished in Hades.
To tantalize.
That's correct. From the name of the go-between for his niece Cressida, this means one who solicits clients for prostitutes or provides gratification.
It's like Fernando or something.
Pimp.
Incorrect. The name of a Norwegian who collaborated with the Nazis, which has come to mean a traitor who works with an invading enemy.
Quisling.
That's correct. The seducer of women is a Lothario, and the go-between for his niece Cressida is Pander. That ends the round. Coaches, you may confer with your teams, and you might also substitute at this point.
40, Northside 90.
Choices in this game are ancient Greek history, meiosis, or authors and their states.
Ancient Greek history.
Ancient Greek history.
Ancient Greek history. Identify the following from the description provided. We begin with number 1. Term for the ancient Greek city-state.
Polis.
Polis.
Correct. Term for the peasants bound to the land in Sparta.
Helots.
Helots.
Correct. The runner Phidippides announced the Greek victory in what battle?
Marathon.
Correct, naval battle of 480 BC where
Salamis.
Salamis.
That's correct. Leonidas and 300 Spartans gallantly defended this mountain pass.
Thermopylae.
That's correct. Ancient Greek called the father of history.
Herodotus.
Herodotus.
Correct. City-state which dominated the Delian League.
Athens.
Athens.
Correct. Sculptor who created the statue of Athena in the Parthenon.
Achilles.
Phidias.
Correct. War between Spartan and Athens.
Peloponnesian War.
Peloponnesian War.
That's correct. Credited with saying, quote, the unexamined life is not worth living.
Plato.
Plato.
That's incorrect. It's 9 out of 10. Eisenhower, 30 seconds, credited with saying the unexamined life is not worth living.
Socrates.
That's correct. Eisenhower, you may now select between meiosis and authors and their stakes.
Authors and their stakes, please.
Give me the state in which each pair of writers is most closely associated, either as their home state or as the setting of much of their important work. Looking for states. We begin with number 1, Carl Sandburg and Saul Bellow.
Illinois.
Correct. Sidney Lanier and Flannery O'Connor.
Georgia.
Correct. Robinson Jeffers and Dashiell Hammett.
New York.
Incorrect. William Carlos Williams and Imamu Amiri Baraka.
New Jersey.
Correct. Henry David Thoreau and John Cheever.
Massachusetts.
Correct. Leslie Marmon Silko and Tony Hillerman.
New Mexico.
Correct. Sherwood Anderson and William Dean Howells.
Ohio.
Correct. Eudora Weldy and...
Mississippi.
That's correct. Sinclair Lewis and F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Minnesota.
Correct. James Whitcomb Riley and Kurt Vonnegut Jr.
Indiana.
That's correct. That's 9 out of 10 as well. Northside, 30 seconds. Robinson Jeffers and Dashiell Hammett.
Big Sleep, right? Louisiana?
There you go. Louisiana.
It's incorrect. California. That concludes the round. Coaches, you may confer with your players.
Eisenhower 240, Northside 180.
Yeah.
Eisenhower 240, Northside 180.
Final round, teams. Good luck. What diatomic acid was formerly known as muriatic? Sean, Northside. Time's up. What? Mike, Eisenhower.
Hydrochloric acid.
That's correct. Frost recited from memory Kevin Eisenhower.
The Gift Outright.
That's incorrect. Frost recited from memory his poem, The Gift Outright, at the inauguration of JFK. Quote exactly the opening line of that poem. Seth, Northside.
The land is not ours.
That's not correct. The correct answer there is the land was ours before we were the land. Next toss-up. What British Governor General of Bengal had Kevin Eisenhower?
Warren Hastings.
That's correct. During whose presidency was the 15th of Kevin Eisenhower?
Ulysses S. Grant.
That's correct. Name the Baroque artist with a violent temperament who once killed a man, Kevin Eisenhower.
Caravaggio.
That's correct. What novel begins with the celebrated line, quote, "It is a truth universally," Kevin Eisenhower?
Anna Karenina.
It's incorrect. What novel begins with the celebrated line, quote, "It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife," end quote? South Northside.
Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen.
That's correct. What California county, the largest, Kevin Eisenhower?
Orange County.
It's incorrect. What California county, the largest U.S. county, has a land area of over 20,000 square miles? Northside, Seth.
San Padre.
It's incorrect. San Bernardino is the correct answer. West Virginia, Maryland, Missouri, Kentucky, and what other state? Kevin Eisenhower.
Delaware?
Delaware is correct. What nation is comprised of 3 islands in the Mozambique, Booth, Northside?
Comoros?
That's correct.
Good shot.
What is the term for a system of linear equations in which all constant terms are zeros? Sean, Northside.
Quadratic.
Incorrect. Eisenhower. Eisenhower, Chris.
Static system.
Also incorrect. Homogeneous is the correct answer. What Renaissance English essayist and philosopher wrote The Advancement of Learning in English? Cecilia, Northside.
Bacon.
That's correct.
Good
Good
job.
shot.
Who composed the Symphony of a Thousand? Cecilia, Northside.
Mahler.
That's correct.
Good shot.
What is the term for a cluster of neurons? Booth, Northside.
Ganglion?
That's
Good
correct.
shot.
Poet, popular playwright, and novelist, she was the first commercially successful woman of letters in English literature. Name this, Kevin Eisenhower.
Montague.
It's incorrect. Poet, popular playwright, and novelist, she was the first commercially successful woman of letters in English literature. Name the 17th century author of The Rover. Northside, Cecilia.
Alpha Ben.
That's correct.
Good shot.
What is the Russian term for the process of reconstruct? Kevin Eisenhower.
Perestroika?
That's correct. 8-second question. If capacitors of 2, 3, and 6 microfarads are connected in series, in microfarads, what is the equivalent capacitance of the Booth, Northside?
11?
It's incorrect. If capacitors of 2, 3, and 6 microfarads are connected in series, in microfarads, what is the equivalent capacitance of the combination? Chris, Eisenhower.
1 microfarad?
That's correct. In organic reaction mechanisms, what does the E stand for when discussing E1 and E2 formate? Sean, Northside.
Right.
It's incorrect. In organic reaction mechanisms, what does the E stand for when discussing E1 and E2 formation of double bonds? Christopher Eisenhower.
Electrons.
It's incorrect. Elimination is the answer. 8-second question, teams. If the quantity x plus 6 is raised to the 3rd power, what is the coefficient of x? Chris, Eisenhower.
3?
That's incorrect. Northside. Northside, Sean.
36.
It's incorrect. 108 is the answer. Final question. Name the woman who was just 35 years old when she became the first woman of the 20th century to lead a Muslim nation. Northside, Booth.
Bhutto?
That's correct.
Good shot.
Hold your places, please, until we can total these up. Well played. Well played. Nice game. Nice game. Nice game. Well played. Nice game. Nice game. Nice game. Well done.
Final scores, Eisenhower 380, Northside 320. Coaches sign the score sheet, please.
Through this championship game to show your support for these two very fine teams. As fine as they are the two teams that made it through a field that was very tough, and just about anybody in this room could be sitting up here, but that's why we play the game, because we try to get down to the two teams that in this given week do the best to get to this point. We have two former championship teams with us, So I'd like to begin by giving both of the teams a big round of applause. I think we're ready to begin.
Sorry, nervous habit. Nervous habit. Let's get it rolling.
Good luck, teams. Here we go. Francois Mitterrand said she has Marilyn Monroe's mouth and Kevin Eisenhower.
Margaret Thatcher?
That's correct. What is the highest point in France? Eisenhower, Kevin.
Mont Blanc.
That's correct. Who, in addition to his own poetry, essays, and literary criticism, edited virtually single-handedly the first English dictionary? Kevin Eisenhower.
Samuel Johnson.
That's correct. Abby Putnam, third wife of Ephraim Cabot, seduces her step, Kevin Eisenhower.
Desire Under the Elms.
That's correct. Otto von Bismarck believed that a war with what country would drive Kevin Eisenhower?
Russia.
It's incorrect. Otto von Bismarck believed that a war with what country would drive the South German states into his arms and cement the creation of the German Empire? Dan, Walter Johnson?
France.
That's correct. Name the current head basketball coach of the Houston Rock, Walter Johnson. Dan?
Rudy Tomjanovich.
That's correct. A magnetron electron tube sends super high frequency waves into a metal cavity where they bounce around until the food absorbs them. What, Kevin Eisenhower?
Irradiation.
That's incorrect. A magnetron electron tube sends super high frequency waves into a metal cavity where they bounce around until food absorbs them. What is this handy kitchen of Walter Johnson? David?
Microwave oven.
That's correct. From what poem come the lines often misquoted as the best laid plans of Kevin Eisenhower?
To a Mouse.
That's correct. Pazaran is a name applied since 1979 to Revolutionary Guards of what is Kevin Eisenhower?
Iran.
That's correct.
Sorry.
Clear, please. What plant class includes lilies and grasses? Walter Johnson, Mika.
Monocots.
That's correct. Name the current governor of New York. Kevin Eisenhower.
George Pataki.
That's correct. A house is the title character of what pre-World War I novel by E.M. Forster? Walter Johnson. Dan?
A Passage to India.
It's incorrect. Eisenhower. Eisenhower. Kevin?
A Room with a View.
Also incorrect. Howard's End is the answer. What is the term in political science for a government grant of pardon to a large Kevin Eisenhower?
Clemency.
It's incorrect. What is the term in political science for a government grant of pardon to a large group of individuals? Walter Johnson, Mika.
Amnesty.
Amnesty is correct. Literally against life, what is the general term for drugs that prevent the growth of living organisms? Walter Johnson, Mika.
Antibiotics.
That's correct. When concentrated sulfuric acid is added to sucrose, it removes 22 hydrogen atoms and 11 oxygen atoms. What is the chemical term for this process? Time's up. It is dehydration. What's the German word for heart? Mike Eisenhower.
Hearts.
That's
correct.
correct. Written by Arthur Miller, this tragedy enjoyed its 50th anniversary revival on Broadway in 1999. Name it. Eisenhower. Kevin.
Death of a Salesman.
That's correct. In what 1987 action film did current Minnesota Governor Kevin Eisenhower?
Predator.
Predator is correct. Of what prelate was Henry II of England speaking when he, Kevin Eisenhower?
Thomas a Becket.
That's correct. What is the medical term for a floating blood clot? Mika, Walter Johnson?
Embolism.
That's incorrect. Eisenhower? Eisenhower. Kevin?
Aneurysm.
Also incorrect. Embolus is what I needed. That's 20 questions. Coaches, you may defer your players.
Fast.
Eisenhower, 110. Walter Johnson, 60.
We're not doing that bad.
Round, here we go. First toss-up teams. Name the two 18th century English writers who collaborated first on the Tatler and Kevin Eisenhower.
Joseph Addison and Richard Steele.
That's correct. Eisenhower European government is your category. Identify the country having been given, identify the country having the given political subdivisions. First, Cornwall and Dorset.
United Kingdom. United Kingdom.
Correct. Utrecht and Friesland.
The Netherlands. Utrecht. Yeah, I think so. Netherlands.
Correct. Meuse and Marne.
France. Or is it Belgium? I think it's France. France.
Correct. Calabria and Liguria.
Italy. Yeah, I guess so. Italy.
That's correct. Next toss-up. What synonym for alkanes is derived from their tendency not to react with other chemicals? Time's up. Paraffins is the answer. Name the Jamaican immigrant who called himself Kevin Eisenhower.
Marcus Garvey.
That's correct. Chemical formulas. Identify the compound with the given molecular formula. First, BaSO4.
Barium sulfate. Barium sulfate.
That's correct. AgBr.
Silver bromide. Silver bromide.
That's correct. NH4F.
Ammonium. Yeah, ammonium fluoride. Ammonium fluoride.
That's correct. NaC2H3O2.
Acetate. Yeah, sodium acetate. Sodium acetate?
That's correct.
That's correct. And you have begun your answer. That is good. Next toss-up. Who did Theodore Roosevelt appoint as head of the United States Forest Service? Kevin Eisenhower.
Gifford Pinchot.
That's correct. Russian assassination geography is the category. Identify the city in which each of the following individuals were assassinated. You must give the name of the city at the time of the assassination. We begin with number 1, Alexander II of Russia.
Kiev.
It's incorrect. Leon Trotsky.
He was in Mexico City. Mexico City.
Correct. Russian Prime Minister Peter Stolypin.
I think it was in St. Petersburg. Okay, I go with St. Petersburg.
That's incorrect. Finally, Grigory Rasputin.
Petrograd.
That's correct.
Good job.
Alexander II was St. Petersburg, and Peter Stolypin was Kiev. Next toss-up. Shostakovich's Symphony No. 13 is a eulogy dedicated to the victims of Kevin Eisenhower.
Leningrad.
It's incorrect. Shostakovich's Symphony No. 13 is a eulogy dedicated to the victims of a Nazi atrocity in 1941 at what Ukrainian ravine? Walter Johnson, Mika.
Katyn.
It's also incorrect. Babi Yar is the answer. Which conic sections have eccentricity greater than David Walter Johnson?
Hyperbolas.
That's correct. Language is your category. Several of our everyday words are derived from the names of Greek or Roman gods or goddesses. Identify each of these words from the given clue. First, word for health or cleanliness from the Greek goddess of health.
Hygienic. Yeah. Hygienic.
That's correct. A word meaning merry or jolly from a Roman name for Zeus.
Jovial.
That's correct. A love potion or something to increase sexual desire from a Greek goddess of love.
Aphrodisiac.
That's correct. It means elusive or having the ability to change shapes easily from a Greek god of the sea.
No, wait. Protean. Okay. Protean.
That's correct.
Good.
And that's the end of the half. Coaches, you may consult with your players and you may substitute if you wish. You've done a terrific job, audience. I just do want to remind you that this is, as far as the audience is concerned, this is the toughest part of the game. From the time the first team goes after the 10 until we rebound them. It's easy to talk to one another about the answers. So I ask you to please be patient throughout this entire round for me.
Jim?
Okay, here we go. Walter Johnson, your choices are national parks, general biology, or ancient Egyptian history.
Ancient Egyptian? I don't know. You can try Egyptian if you like. Let's do ancient Egyptian. Let's do national. Do you know parks? Yeah. National parks?
You selected national parks. Identify the United States national park in which you could see the following sites. I'll give you a site. You're going to give me the national park. We begin with number 1, Mount Whitney.
That's in Kings Canyon. Kings Canyon.
Incorrect. Pelican Cone and Shoshone Lake.
Isn't that Grand Teton?
Grand Teton.
Incorrect. Devil's Garden and the Windows.
Oh, it's Craters in the Moon.
Craters of the Moon. Craters of the Moon.
Incorrect. El Capitan.
That's in Yosemite. Yosemite.
Correct. Chillicothe Mountain.
Jesus Christ.
Is that Great Smoky?
Might as well. Great Smoky.
Incorrect. Estes Cone and Long's Peak.
Long's Peak. No ideas.
Sorry.
All right. Great Smoky.
Incorrect. Jenny Lake and Mount Moran.
Is that
Rocky Mountain?
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain.
Incorrect. Going to the Sun Road.
Jesus Christ.
Craters of the Moon.
Somewhere high. Craters of the Moon.
Incorrect. Castle Point and Wizard Island.
Crater Lake. Crater Lake.
Correct. Bubble Rock and Thunder Hole.
Quickly.
Great Smoky. That's incorrect. That's 10. That's 2 out of 10.
I'm sorry.
Please, audience, we're set for 30 Eisenhower, Mount Whitney.
What's the lowest point? Death Valley.
Incorrect. Pelican Cone and Shoshone Lake.
Pass.
Devil's Garden and the Windows.
Yellowstone.
Incorrect. Chillicothe Mountain.
Big Bend.
Correct. Estes Cone and Long's Peak.
Great Smoky.
Incorrect. Jenny Lake and Mount Moran.
Yellowstone.
Incorrect. Going to the Sun Road.
Yellowstone.
Incorrect. Bubble Rock and Thunder Hole.
Yellowstone.
That's incorrect. For the record, Pelican Cone and Shoshone Lake are Yellowstone. Mount Whitney is Sequoia. Devil's Garden and the Windows is Arches. Estes Cone and Long's Peak is Rocky Mountain. Jenny Lake and Mount Moran is Grand Teton. Going to the Sun Road is Waterton Glacier. And Bubble Rock and Thunder Hole is Acadia. Eisenhower, general biology or ancient Egyptian history?
Egyptian history, please.
Okay, one more time, audience. Identify the following from the description provided. We begin with number 1, Boy King, whose mummy was discovered by Howard Carter.
Two in common.
That's correct. Most important ancient Egyptian goddess.
Isis.
Correct. Polished black stone, which was the key to translating hieroglyphics.
Rosetta Stone.
That's correct. Port City, which had one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
Alexandria.
That's correct. Woman who ruled as Pharaoh from 1470. That's correct. Pharaoh who united Upper and Lower Egypt circa 31 BCE.
Menes, also called Narmer.
That's correct. Ancient Egypt, who was ruled by how many dynasties?
30.
Incorrect. Pharaoh who lived at the age of 99 and fathered 150
Ramses
children.
II.
That's correct. Nomadic invaders who ruled
Hyksos.
Egypt. That's correct. Female ruler of ancient Egypt remembered for her affair with Mark Antony.
Cleopatra.
That is correct, and that's 9 out of 10. Please, audience, 1 to go to Walter Johnson. Walter Johnson, ancient Egypt was ruled by how many dynasties?
Ideas. It's in the 20s. I know that. It's like
It's like
guess something in the 20s. 29.
You did go the other way. It's 31. It's the end of the period. Coaches, you may confer with your players.
Well, yeah, this
Question number 27.
Score! The score is Eisenhower 290, Walter Johnson 110.
I'm really sorry.
Then at the end of the game, if you guys would all just stay in place until we're ready, and then we'll get you out with your teams.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Good luck. The Migration Series, panel number 57, The Female Worker was also one of the last groups to leave the South, is a part of a famous series by what African-American artist? Walter Johnson, Mika.
Grandma Moses.
That's incorrect. Eisenhower? Time's up. Jacob Lawrence is the answer. To what nation, in what nation is the official language Islenska? Kevin Eisenhower.
Iceland?
That's correct. What composer was influenced by his stay in the United States in the 1890s? Kevin Eisenhower.
Dvorak?
That's correct. 8-second question. At STP in grams, what is the weight of 1 liter of carbon monoxide gas? Time's up. 1.25 is the answer. Hold on to your pencils. Here's another 8-second one. What is x if the square root of 4x is equal to 40? Chris Eisenhower.
40.
That's incorrect. Walter Johnson. Walter Johnson Grant.
400.
400 is correct. She would arrange the abstract forms of wood in shallow trays or boxes, which by the early 1950s she was stacking up into environmental walls sprayed black. Name this artist who created Sky Cathedral. Time's up. Louise Nevelson is the answer. Name the muckraker who spoke out against racial injustice in the Grant. Walter Johnson.
Mencken.
Incorrect. Name the muckraker who spoke out against racial injustice in the Progressive Era in his book Following the Color Line. Time's up. Ray Stannard Baker is the answer. What infamous massacre by American troops under the command Kevin Eisenhower?
My Lai.
That's correct. Name the last emperor of the Julio-Claudian Mika. Walter Johnson.
Nero.
Nero is correct. Leopold II of Belgium sent what sensation-seeking journalist? Mika. Walter Johnson.
Stanley.
That's correct. What was the German name for Otto von Bismarck's attack on the Catholic Church? Kevin Eisenhower.
Kulturkampf.
That's correct. Name the Renaissance English soldier, statesman, critic, and poet who... Mika. Walter Johnson.
Sir Walter Raleigh.
It's incorrect. Name the Renaissance English soldier, statesman, critic, and poet who wrote the sonnet sequence Astrophil and Stella. Kevin Eisenhower.
Sir Philip Sidney.
That's correct. 8-second question, teams. In a parallelogram ABCD, if angle A has degree measure 36, what is the degree measure of angle Grant? Walter Johnson. That was up. Did I finish that?
No.
In a parallelogram ABCD, if angle A has degree measure 36, what is the degree measure of angle D? Mike Eisenhower.
144 degrees.
That's correct. Give the name of the 1478 conspiracy whose goal was to assassinate Lorenzo de' Medici and his brother Giuliano. Time's up. Pazzi conspiracy is the answer. Name the part of the hindbrain just above the medulla that contains neurons and that control respiration. David. Walter Johnson.
Hypothalamus.
It's incorrect. Eisenhower. Eisenhower. Mike.
The pons.
That's correct. What Englishman wrote the original passage, "Never send to know for whom the bell tolls"? Kevin Eisenhower.
John Donne.
That's correct. Identify the 19th century author of the Earthly Paradise, who was also a decorator, printer, designer of furniture, and founder of the Kelmscott Press. Kevin Eisenhower.
Chippendale.
It's incorrect. Walter Johnson. Walter Johnson. Mika.
Blake.
Also incorrect. William Morris is the answer. In what state was SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, formed in April? Kevin Eisenhower.
North Carolina.
That's correct. Final question, teams. What is the proper chemical formula for lithium carbide? Mike Eisenhower.
LIC.
That's incorrect. You may take a Walter Johnson. Walter Johnson, Dan.
LiCO2.
It's also incorrect. Li2C2.
Li2. You would know. Thanks.
Yeah, I did a great job. Good job.
Good enough.
Good job.
Final score, Eisenhower 470, Walter Johnson 170.
That's somewhat embarrassing. Yeah, somewhat.